In the last 5 or 6 years, we've had 5 different disasters.
Hurricanes, we can clean up, we can go back out and make a living.
We've already had Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Rita, and then this oil spill on top of it was like the third kick in the stomach to everybody.
When you saw a complete collapse of the tourism industry, that reverberated throughout the entire economic sector.
We've seen increased levels of stress, anxiety, anger, domestic violence, substance abuse, and suicidal ideations.
Those that haven't been fortunate enough to find work are still struggling with, what does my future look like? It's not what they thought it would be.
To help the communities and people affected by the BP oil spill, an anonymous donor established a $20 million fund at Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors. Working through community foundations in the region, the fund has supported local organizations that provided crucial direct services. The Fund for Gulf Communities has served over 750,000 people across the Gulf Coast since 2011. Here are some of their stories.
After the oil spill, we didn't unload a lot of shrimp. Even though some of the fishermen went back out, some of the area was closed. This business is really important, and it's like a chain because it's from the fishermen to the docks and from the docks to the processing plant. So if the fishermen don't catching, and we're going to be stuck. Last year we had problems, so Southern Mutual had come in and assist us some of the financials. Not only for the business here at InterCoastal City, but for the fishermen. Several boats out there had get some money to help them upgrade their boat. I really appreciate Southern Mutual help. I've been counting on them, and they are really my big help.
Business literacy class was one of the classes that BISCO was able to bring a bunch of fishermen to. We had like 32 fishermen that came to this class. And so we were teaching them QuickBooks and how to market their catch by social media or to call different people and say, hey, I'm getting ready to be at the dock. Can you let people know? Because the shrimp factories were not giving them fair market price.
After the BP spill, we were not allowed to get in the water for at least 9 to 10 months. We have seen a significant decrease in the crabs.
We were able to teach people how to budget the little money that they had.
They helped a lot of people that were affected, especially fishermen.
The fishing and trawling industry was impacted severely by the oil spill, as well as some of the oil companies had to stop production. And it impacted the school by our kids not knowing, where their parents were going to work and find money. A lot of students were worried about that. Some of the kids even expressed that, is it Katrina all over again?
Mental health care services in Plaquemines were very limited. Through the help of this grant, we had a child psychiatrist on staff who would also travel down into the parish, provide services at the schools and the community centers.
I come down to Boothville once a week, every Thursday. I spend the entire day here. I provide counseling to students. They're learning coping skills for anxiety. A lot of them are just having behavioral issues and acting out at home because parents were home more, arguing more, fighting over finances. The kids see all of that, and then they're talking to me about finances.
Seeing someone, every month or sporadically, it just wasn't helping them. So seeing her more has really had a big impact on how they feel about themselves. It really brought a sense of normalcy to our kids. The fear level with the oil spill was that the way of life was gone. The way of life to deal with hurricanes is just part of living on the beautiful Gulf Coast. But the oil spill was different for families. Privacy Pantry opened in 2003, and we were started by a group of ladies who realized there were hungry people in our community. We were serving about 600 families a month, but by August of 2010, we were seeing 850 families regularly, and then we topped that first 1,000 families.
I was working at Mercy Medical, and after the oil spill, they cut my hours and cut me down, so I didn't have any other source of income. I heard about the Pantry. So I came here and it was very good to me and my grandboys because they give me fresh food, canned food, whatever they have available.
There was a nonprofit that is helping families. We were in a catch-22. There was no money coming in the county. There was no help coming from the local community because they needed it. Everybody needed help. And so the Community Foundation stepped in.
With the Pantry helping me, it supplements what I came by with all the food stamps, you know. They're here to help you any way they can.
We're going to sit and talk with you and figure out what's going on in your life and then try to plug you into other resources. Because if you need food, there is something else going on. The lost job isn't here. They're still waiting. And so that wears on you. If you've always taken care of yourself and now you are the one being taken care of by others, that's hard.
One of the gaps that you have in Northwest Florida is organizations that operate across a regional footprint. And Catholic Charities fills that gap. People tourist here, they come to our beaches. In those months following the disaster, when you saw a complete collapse of the tourism industry, that reverberated throughout the entire economic sector.
I was working on the beach, doing condos and cleaning, stuff like that. And because of the oil spill, I had to, of course, we didn't have work, so it put us in a position where we didn't have income. And so it was pretty much trying to find employment and couldn't find any.
You had people who were flooding to our offices, and I was basically screaming, you have to address their economic crisis.
When I came here, I was able to let them know what we needed and what was going on. I was able to get a job through this program with early education and care, and I've been there for a year and a half. Dr. Moore gave us some financial literacy information of how to make money and, pay yourself and save for your children so you wouldn't catch yourself in certain positions. It was very, very informative, and it helped me out a lot.
A lot of our restaurants serve fresh seafood, so they killed a lot of jobs for the restaurants. They had to cut hours and cut labor. And it was really kind of hard, man, finding a job. I ended up having to work at the Dollar General and becoming a cashier.
I was working for a construction job right after the oil spill happened. My job went away, and I couldn't pay for my rent, and I couldn't really feed my kids.
We increased our effort to establish the Cafe Climb program, which is a model with workforce training and economic development. And the students learn the full scope of cafe operations.
When Cafe Climb came along, it helped us better ourselves so if we did go to one of these jobs, we'll be in a good position to be ready to be a productive worker.
At first it was hard, and then I had two people to take me under their wing. They really taught me a lot about how to be a leader and not a follower.
They've been able to develop job skills, life skills, to be more effective in the program, in their families, in their work life, and in the community.
And they are the reason why I am sitting here right now. If it wasn't for Cafe Climb, I honestly believe I would be in jail.
It has led to us being a more resilient community across the entire Gulf Coast.
We're real optimistic and positive that the worst is behind us. But there's a long road ahead for those that are sitting out in the chairs today. And so we want to be here for them.